Hey guys, welcome back to the new video, and in this video we're going to discuss one of the most important flow, which is state flow. State flow is primarily built to hold state for our user interface. It's a hot flow. That means it emits the latest value to all of its collectors. Let's get started with our video and try to understand it with small examples. So for that, right now I'm in my main activity and I'm going to create here a state flow and initialize this state flow with the help of mutable state flow. So the main difference between state flow and mutable state flow is in mutable state flow you can actually update its value, but with the state flow it is not the case. And in mutable state flow we need to pass an initial value to it. So let's use here 0. Now just below to it, let me make some space for you, and here we're gonna create our main function. Our return type is unit, and I'm using here run blocking to start a new coroutine. Now within this I will emit 1 to my state flow. Then we produce a delay of 1 second. Again emit value 2, produce delay of 1 second, and launch a new coroutine and attach collector to our state flow on our state flow. So collect, use here println just to print messages on our console. So it's a first collector, and at the end we wanna print its value. Again I'm gonna produce 1 second delay, state flow, emit the value 3, use delay of 1 second. So the reason of introducing delay here is just to understand the concept. There is no other reason why I'm putting this delay in here. I'll launch a new coroutine and attach the second collector to it. So now we up to this point we have attached 2 collector. Let's introduce delay of 1 second and emit the value. So state flow emit the value 10. It's time to execute this main function and try to understand how state flow will work. This is our console log. First collector collect value 2 because up to this point the latest value for our state flow is 2. So when we attach the collector it receives the value 2. After that we emit value 3, it receives the value 3. And when we launch a new coroutine and attach new collector to our state flow, it emits the latest value. That's the reason why we are getting here second collector value collects 3. And at the end when we emit 10, we have 2 collector and both will receive value 10 because it's the latest value for our state flow. So this is how it works. We're gonna see an example how we should use state flows in order to hold our UI state within view model. So for that, at the top I'm going to create a class, and the class says counter view model. Extend this thing with view model, and within this we're going to create a private variable naming counter. It's a mutable state flow. Initial value is 0. Again I'm going to create a counter variable and convert this mutable state flow counter into state flow so that no one can change its value from outside of this view model. We have a function which says update counter, and we simply update it very easily with the help of counter.update function. In this update function will receive the previous value of our counter, so just use it +1 and it simply updates the counter mutable state flow, which you can very easily observe with the help of this counter on your screen. Let's build a Jetpack Compose user interface. So composable counter screen, and in this I'm gonna create a column, pass modifier, fill max size, its vertical arrangement on the center, and its horizontal alignment is also horizontally. Create a text, and at the top of your column make sure to use your view model to observe the changes within our counter. So for that we're gonna pass our view model instance in it, create a counter naming variable, use view model, we have counter mutable state flow, and this time we wanna collect this thing in a form of state attached to the composable lifecycle. I want to use that counter, convert this in form of string, and just below to it add spacer to make some space. Height of this thing is 12 dp, and attach a button. So when you click this button it simply increment our counter. handle the on click with the help of our view model update counter, and its UI says update counter. So it's a very simple composable. So here you can see we were using our state flow and collect this thing in a form of state, which is eventually attached to the composable lifecycle. So when you put your application on the background, it stop collecting the state flow because it is attached to our lifecycle. Now if you use collect as state, it start collecting the values, and when you put your application on the background, it doesn't matter, it continuously collecting the changes on your state flow. So make sure when you want to collect your state flow, always attach that state flow with your component lifecycle, so that when you navigate somewhere, when you put your application on the background, it eventually stop collecting the values. Okay, so let me just reuse the same thing, collect as state with lifecycle, and now it's time to use this counter screen within our application. So to remove this counter view model and pass our view model from here, I'm gonna use a private variable naming view model and delegate the initialization to my view models. Mention the type, so the type is counter view model. Remove this pair of parentheses and simply pass it from here. Now execute this application. Okay, so as you can see, it start working. Now if I change the configuration, we'll receive the latest emitted value from our state flow, which is 10. So the main purpose of building state flow is to handle the UI state, because previously we were having live data. So we saw how to use state flows within our view model and a way of collecting that emissions within our Jetpack Compose composable screens. Now when you are going to collect the state flow on your activity or fragment, make sure to attach your collector with your component lifecycle. So let's see how we can do that thing. So it's very easy. If you are in activity, you should use something like that. So let me just create a launch effect for you, and I want to use key unit. Now in this we'll use our view model counter flow with lifecycle. So as now we are currently present within our composable. So composable has something what we call local lifecycle owner. Initialize this thing with local lifecycle owner dot current and simply pass its lifecycle. Now when you collect it, now this collector is attached to your lifecycle owner dot lifecycle, or you can say composable screen lifecycle. When you put your application on the background, it simply stop the collection. Now for activity and for fragment, we usually use a view lifecycle owner. So when your view got destroyed, it simply destroy the collector and remove the collector information from your memory. So this is a way of collecting emissions from your state flow within your activity or fragment. Alright, so that's it for this video. In this video we covered what is state flows and a way of collecting its values within our composable screen, within our activity or fragment. Also we saw how it actually works. Alright, so that's it for this video. I hope you like this video. If you did, write your comments and also share this video to your friends so that he knew about the state flow. We'll meet you in next video where we'll discuss something new about Android. Till that, goodbye.